the wind has done a complete turnabout. Yesterday, fast times and a tailwind. Today, you can see for yourself at the start there, it's a headwind and it's really rough water at the start.
All the way through the week, they've been working in with tailwind conditions, but here's suddenly into a headwind. Very, very rough water building up here on the start. It'll get a little bit easier as it goes, but there's Sarah Garner, very experienced sculler. She's done so well over the last 3 or 4 years, first as a single sculler, now stroking the double and the reigning world champion. But they're all going to be very, very tested today in these headwind conditions, which are not even straight headwind. They're actually a little bit across the course, making it slightly unfair. But here, closest to us, the United States, and a good takeoff from all 6 doubles in these difficult conditions.
Yes, just to remind you, this is a lightweight event, so none of these scullers can weigh individually more than 59 kilos, and together their average must not exceed 57.
But it is an Olympic event, and as such, it is a very, very high-class event, and all the best scullers around the world will be in this event.
We're talking about best scullers in the world. There are the 2 Romanians in the white hats there, and they're going to be tough to beat. They've got back together this year to get themselves in line for the defense of their Olympic title. Miriam.
Yeah, these scullers are very long and lean, very, very thin. They managed to diet down to weight for the day. Takes a lot of willpower, etc. And you can see that those long levers are a real advantage, especially in this headwind.
I was going to say, Miriam, in these conditions, you've really got to put out of your mind the fact that it's a big problem and overcome that, haven't you?
Okay, well, there's 2 factors. One is the water is really rough. So you have to be able to make a good circle at the finish with your hands and keep it clean. You lose valuable seconds every time the blade hits the water. The other factor is the headwind. It's going to be a longer race, but you mustn't let that stop you from adding putting everything that you can into the race. It's only going to be about 20 or 30 strokes longer. That's not much.
Coming through to the first quarter, and indeed it's the Olympic champions who've got the edge there. Romania, who are ahead of Germany, with in 3rd place the United States world champions, and the Dutch in picture, they're in 4th ahead of France and Australia.
Yeah, Australia really slipped out badly there. They're a good 2.5 lengths behind the field, but it's certainly the Romanians who are moving out very, very well, half a length ahead of the field. And look how they drive the legs. It's very much a leg drive, and then the bodies take over through the middle to the end of the stroke.
Germans in picture now, and Karen Stefan, well, silver medalist a year ago in Germany with her partner in this particular boat, but they're up against it here. The Americans are very good. The Romanians look solid. The Romanians in the early part of the World Cup showed that they were going to be a force.
And look how they're hanging on to the finishes there. That's what you've got to do in this headwind. You've got to hold on to the finishes and really, really send the boat there so it travels between the strokes. Because every time you take a stroke, the wind is blowing it back, slowing it down.
On the right there, that's Constanta Bucica, herself individual lightweight single sculls champion in '94 and again '96. And her partner, Camelia, very interesting, Dan. She's won the Olympic title. She's never been a world champion with a gold medal.
Well, these people have been. They were world champions last year, the United States. Sarah Garner in the stroke seat. She is used to winning. She doesn't like to come in second, and she's really pushing the rate up here, really trying to get back on terms with Romania. See the difference in styles. The Americans sit up much, much more, but they're all having trouble with this rough water. They're all finding the ways pretty hard to cope with, but it will get better in the last 600 or 700 meters. But here, right in the middle of the race, it's tough.
But Romania ahead of the United States. United States still with the overlap there in lane 5, trying to come back at the Romanians. And you can see the wind in the trees there. That gives you an idea in the background there just how strong this headwind is as we go through the halfway point.
Yeah, halfway through the race here, and it's beginning to hurt in the headwind. The Romanians seem to have opened out quite a lead with the Americans over the rest of the field, but seeing as it's a headwind race, crews can come back in the last 500 meters. So let's see how far out these 2 crews can go.
Out of picture, actually, the Australians are coming back. They were only 6th after the first 500 meters. They're out of picture because they're in lane 6. Here they are, just about see it now. And they're just moving themselves up here into about 3rd place.
The Romanians really going for it here. They've got the second half to go. They know that that the Americans are a big threat. They know that they were world champions last year, but they've still got a length on the United States.
And just to emphasize how important this race is, as you see the Americans, 22 entries this year into this boat class. That's up from 15 in Cologne, and it compares reasonably well with 1995 before Atlanta, when there were actually 26 entries.
Well, it says a lot for the attempt by FISA to spread the competition around the world. This lightweight event here is exactly designed for some of the smaller nations who can't really put together 4s and 8s, but they can certainly put smaller boats together. The Australian double here, look how low their rating is. They are very, very low compared to the others out in front, but they are still making ground on the field. Here they are at about 32 strokes a minute, very steady, but just working their way from last position at 500 meters. Now, as they come up to the last 500 meters, working their way through into third place. But it's still Romania out in front, and still these waves really knocking them back, making it very difficult conditions out there for these lightweight scullers.
And in terms of boat speed in this third quarter of the race, it does look to be Romania ahead of the United States, and then Australia. After that, France and Germany and Holland finding it now very, very difficult. And Romania, the further we go, the better for me they look.
Oh, they look very, very good. And look at that leg drive. Those are the biggest muscles in the body. Those quadriceps just driving off the catch. It's not very pretty to watch, but my God, it's fast. And they are really, really sending the boat in the finish. That's really what gives them that extra bit of pace. The American double doesn't have quite the same push at the end of the stroke, and so the wind is blowing them back that little bit more, and they're getting a little bit less out of the boat each stroke.
Slightly more like Indian file at the moment, though, because the Romanians have got, at the moment, the better of these two. Sarah Garner on the left there. Well, she was out in the west in San Diego, but she's now together with Christine Collins over at Princeton.
Well, they're in very good position there in second place there. They're qualified for the Olympics next year, but they will be very disappointed that they're not there up on terms with Romania. And it's these conditions that are really making the big difference between their performance, the United States, in the semi-finals, when they looked absolutely supreme, and now in these headwind conditions that they're having a lot of difficulty with. But here again, this low-rating Australian double, it's remarkable how different it is. They're 4 or 5 strokes lower than the two leading crews, but they're still making a lot of ground here in third position and moving very, very well indeed.
Yes, Sally Newmarch on the left in the stroke seat from South Australia, New South Wales, her partner Virginia Lee. And they've got to keep up to their task there, because the French, as you can see there in the background, they are not that far away from the bronze medal. So we could have another fight on here, perhaps not for the gold, certainly not for the gold, but possibly for the bronze medal. And these two just look better and better. Now the water's a little bit calmer, and they're looking even stronger.
But they've opened up now nearly 2 lengths on the United States. But it's this is the crew that we've got to watch for the bronze medal.
The Americans are still solid in second place, as the Olympic champions are about to become world champions and do so, take the gold. America silver this year, and the Australians looking very laid back, really, but they get the bronze ahead of the French, who in turn are well ahead of Germany and Holland. Yeah, convincing victory. The time, though, 1 minute and 20 seconds behind the world best time in these very, very tough conditions. Well, apart from the 6 crews who've taken part in today's race, Switzerland, Hungary and Poland have also earned qualifying places for next year's regatta in this particular boat class. But who, I wonder, can take these two on and beat them in Sydney?